Yeah, my name's Notcho Dude, and I'm from Belize, man. I'm from Guatemala, man. I used to live in Belize and Guatemala, and shit, I would basically say that's like Central America and all that, and Central America, you know. And shit, if you know anything about Central America, like if you could compare it, it could be like comparing it to like Mexico, except it's just a whole bunch of niggas. I mean, you gonna see brown people out there, they don't call themselves Mexicans. So yeah, like my family is a part of the indigenous people who live in Central America, like the Garifuna people, like that's who we are. And our history is the people like. And basically, our history is like from like what they say in the history books. Like we were destined for slavery in the U.S. when we shipwrecked, and we made our own colonization in Belize and Guatemala and Honduras and like all those other like indigenous people, like the black people who live in Central America. Like we're all African American. We're all not African American, but like straight. We just like African, like that's our black people basically. Some people we black, but we speak Spanish because we adopted the. So long story short, like basically what the African, what the indigenous people are the people who like they like Africans. They black. I say we black. We just, we kept our West African roots. So that's what the indigenous people are, is the people. So we're all a part of the West Africans. Those are our people that, that was from the Belizeans and the Guatemalans. Those are our people. So yeah, I was around 8 or 9 when I came to America. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of like I was like learning how to read and write and do like I was going to school in Belize when I was living in Belize from 1994 till around 99 or like 2000. That's when I came to America. So. Yeah, my mom had actually stabbed my dad with a knife, what I mean? She like stabbed him, and my dad was in the hospital, like he got pictures, my dad got pictures of him in the hospital and all that with the dog. My dad had pictures of him with he had like 2 Rottweiler dogs or something like that. He was in the hospital with like taking pictures, he was in the hospital bed and he had 2 Rottweilers next to him. So it was during or around that time, though, like my parents had domestic issues or whatever. So then I was sent to Belize with my siblings. That was around like 94. I was born in 92, so it was during or around that time, though, like my parents had domestic issues or whatever. So then I was sent to Belize with my siblings. That was around like 94. I was born in 92, so. Yeah, man. So we naturally fit in because once we was in Belize and Guatemala, me and my siblings, we naturally fit in because our parents are from out there. Like, so I could say I experienced a lot out there. Like growing up is like my early that was the early childhood years. Y'all ask about my early childhood years and stuff. And where I'm from, so. Oh man, how it's like in Belize? It's like cultural, like very cultural. Like you gonna be in tune with your black side, to be your black folks and all that. Yeah, shit, and at the same time, like I was born around like a very pivotal time. I was born around 1992. That was the LA riots, Watts riots and all that and shit like that. So it was crazy because my parents was living in LA, you know what I mean, or San Diego, you know. I had family in LA and shit like that, but you know, it was crazy. Like, shit, I used to, you know, how I grew up was, you know, pops was in the home, mom was in Florida or something. They said like that. She was supposed to come, you know, come see it. So shit, niggas was already back in, like, you know, me and my siblings, my pops, you know, my pops got us back finally from Belize and stuff, because my pops was trying to get us from my grandma the whole time. You know, I mean, my pops didn't like us living. So shit, niggas was already back in, like, you know, me and my siblings, my pops, you know, my pops got us back finally from Belize and stuff, because my pops was trying to get us from my grandma the whole time. You know, I mean, my pops didn't like us living. Yeah, so pops didn't like us living in Belize with grandma, man. It was rough out there a little bit, you know what I mean? Niggas, my pops used to send stuff to my grandma, a suitcase full of clothes from the States, from America, not saying nothing to where's my grandma or nobody in Belize, my family in Belize. We loved it in Belize, you know. We loved everything about it, you know. We was sad to leave Belize, but you know, my pops is my pops. Long story short, my pops finally got us from our grandma. You know, my pops got arrested once at the border for trying to, like, take us from my grandma. It was crazy, you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. I just remember being in a white truck. It was a white truck or something, like, yeah, it was a white truck. And there was a dude it was a white pickup truck, so there was a guy in the pickup truck, like the back of it. Nigga, we was in that pickup truck driving through the forest, nigga, through Belize or whatever, all that stuff. You know, I'm looking up at the moon, everything. And what dude in the back of the pickup truck, and we see a mountain lion. Once we saw that mountain lion or whatever, I think it was a jaguar or something. You know, Belize got exotic animals. So once we saw that, the dude in the back of the pickup truck was like yelling, saying, "Hey man, you know, just speed the truck up, so go." Like he was yelling shit like that, like it's a lion or like some shit. He was like, I just remember, and I could only imagine the fear he was in because he was in the bed of the pickup truck. We were actually in the car, like in the truck, like everybody else, you know. So I could only imagine his fear at that moment. This is where it gets sad, y'all, man. My pops, he gets arrested, bro, like, by the Border Patrol Customs at that very exact moment, like 10 minutes later, literally, like, my pops got arrested. So the story was why he got arrested was, you know, my grandma had custody of us, and he tried to take us back to the U.S., to the States where we was born in San Diego, California. He tried to take us from my grandma because my grandma, you know, she did what she could for us, but it wasn't like, my dad felt like it was like we was living in poor conditions, so that was the story. Yeah, so like, yeah, you know, it was a bunch of shit going on in my early childhood years, man. I could just say that. Like, fuck. It was one of those things my pops even told me, though. He was like, he didn't even know he was in Belize with our grandma for, like, he didn't know. Like, so, like, I could feel my pops, like, you know what I mean? But, he said once he found out, he was, like, trying to, like, get us back from our grandma. Once he found all that out, like, with my mom's, I just remember I used to speak to her on the phone in Belize when we was with my grandma, living in Belize with my grandma. I used to speak to her on the phone all the time. I just remember that. And then my grandma Thelma, you know what I mean, my mom's mom, which was who he was living with in Belize when we were kids. I'm talking about me and my siblings when I say we, but yeah. Shit, we had it going on, man. We went to Holy Ghost school in Belize around that time. From like, when I was growing up in Belize, like we were actually going to Holy Ghost school. And I don't think they call it like elementary or nothing like that. They call it just Holy Ghost school and stuff like that. That was our school, and I was in standard 3. They don't say like grades. They at Holy Ghost school, it was basically like elementary for like Belize. We used to like wear like everybody had to wear uniforms, white shirt like these. Every morning before school started, everybody would pray instead of doing the Pledge of Allegiance. How they do it out here in the States, you know what I mean? We used to pray, you know what I mean, on some spiritual shit. That was the school. That's how the. Oh yeah, and then mind you, like our school was called Holy Ghost, so it was supposed to be like a haunted ass school, and we would have kids. Right, I'll go to my aunt's classroom. I would run to her class, ask her for a pencil. She usually would give me a pencil and shit like that. Now, if it was like a severe punishment, the principal would deal with it. Then they had this game called Grip Down in Belize at the school, man. Like, you'd be on the monkey bars, you know what I mean? You have to, like, grip your legs on the, you meet half and halfway, you and the other guy. So then you meet halfway, you and the other guy, and then you have to wrap your legs around the waist, or legs, or ankles, anything to, like, or even, like, to, like, knock the dude onto the mud. Yeah, so you like sometimes you wrap your legs around him, his waist, and then you could like he'll slip off the monkey bars. You could dangle him in the air or whatever while your legs is around him. Anything. All you see is a little kid fall right into the mud, right onto the floor, like off the monkey bars. The little ladder monkey bars. You know what I mean? That was our game though. That was what we played. We didn't have. And then we was always in the water. We used to stay in the water, stay in the canoes in Belize, stay in the river, stay at the beach, the rivers and all that. They have a bunch of waters in Belize, so yeah. Yeah, that was basically my childhood years in Belize, man. Fun times. Miss all my cousins and my aunts, my uncles, aunties, everybody out there in Belize. Shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? And I was born in La Mesa, California. I guess both of my parents had to have been like immigrants or something like that, and I don't know how that worked. So my mom is from Belize, my pops is from Guatemala. I don't know where they met. I don't know how I ended up being born in San Diego, California. I don't know. Shit, man, my favorite things in life is the money, the cars, and the females. In luxurious things, in family, of course. Instead of giving you a top 3, I'm gonna give you the artists that I like. The artists that I like. I like Lil Boosie, Lil Reese, Chief Keef, Tupac, Snoop Dogg. I fuck with Nipsey. What I mean? Like, I just like that gang shit, like all that shit, man, Then I can't give y'all the exclusives, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? Just to put y'all on, man. Pook Papers is hard. Them the exclusive, like Philly rappers, you know what I mean? For some reason, I just like a lot of rap, like, artists from Philly. I like a lot of rap artists from Philly and shit like that. I love Philly rappers, man. Gilly the Kid, Cassidy, all. For some reason, I just like a lot of rap, like, artists from Philly. I like a lot of rap artists from Philly and shit like that. I love Philly rappers, man. Gilly the Kid, Cassidy, all. We ain't consistent enough to call it a team, but I say right now the people I'm working with right now is my brother, and then my boy NB Grifo. You know, Grifo, he on, you know, my bro, he rap, Grifo on the video. Oh yeah, for surely I believe in God, believe in Dios, man. I believe for sure, 100%. You know what I mean? Who else made the stars, the moon, and the sky, and all that? And just living in Belize and living in Central America, you know, I'd say that would be an unforgettable experience. Right there, you know. That'll be the top number one for me right now. You feel me? Living in Guatemala with my pops, you know, with my dad, you know, till my grandma, she came and gaffled us up and took us right back to Belize. Like, yeah, man. Now the worst story is lit because I've been trying to actually get this on camera for y'all to hear it. You know what I mean? For a while now, like. The worst story is, you know, me and the homie. I was with the homie Oso Millie, man. So I'm with the homie Oso Millie out here in Escondido, California, man. You know, the homie YT, you know, his mom had just kicked us out the house. We was in YT's studio. YT lived on Washington and shit. In Escondido and shit. So mind you, we walking down like, all right, you know, we got funk with like the essays and shit back in that during those times or whatever. So like we walking through like their little section or whatever they say, you know. And you know, mind you, like, you know, it was bad. You know, you knew it was gonna get cracking. Like you knew it was gonna get cracking once if we seen them. It was gonna, you know, niggas ain't standing down to nothing back then. So like, yeah, we. So long story short, you know what I mean? I'm telling the homie Oso Millie, I'm looking at him as we walking. I'm all like telling his ass like, hey, bro, look, man, just be on your toes. You know what I mean? Just in case anything happen, type of. So long story short, bro, you see like a car, like, well, I see the car first. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, for some reason the homie Oso Millie like kind of like walked like 10 steps ahead of me. I see the car full of essays just drive by. So they drive past us, they throwing up their little signs or whatever, you know what I mean? They gang signs or whatever, right? So, like, I catch up to the homie, I'm like, you didn't just see that car? The homie, like, he listening to music, he like, so the homie acting all dumbfounded and shit, like, what you mean, bro? I'm like, nigga, a car full of these niggas just drove past us, bro. Throwing up gang signs, throwing up their set out the window, we Crips, so we like, alright. So I ain't gonna lie, at that point I'm thinking the homie acted scary because I'm like, I know he's seen these niggas, bro. Like, I seen him, how you didn't see him? I'm thinking that in my head, like, the homie acting scary, so I'm like, alright. So I ain't gonna lie, at that point I'm thinking the homie acted scary because I'm like, I know he's seen these niggas, bro. Like, I seen him, how you didn't see him? I'm thinking that in my head, like, the homie acting scary, so I'm like, alright. So shit, as we keep walking forward, right? Like now, I guess they spin around, they do a U-turn, and then the homie goes, "Oh, cuh, I just seen them niggas, cuz." It was to the fact to where like, all right, I didn't even see him this time, so like the homie spotted him this time, so he like, Notcho, you was right, cuz. He's like, I see their car right there. He point ahead. He like, they right there. Okay, so when I look, I'm like, oh, that's them. Yeah, that is them. I just see like 4 essays like standing outside of the same car that I just like seen earlier. We just saw, so they across the street from us. So, you know, mind you, they already banging on us, throwing up shit. You know what I mean? Throwing up their little set or whatever. So then, you know what I mean? We Crip affiliated around that time. So the homie like he tried to. Like, out of all my homies, like, who lived in Escondido, niggas know for sure, like, Notcho gonna get cracking, also gonna get cracking, for sure, like, if in that situation, like, you know, I would say, like, around those times, people knew that we was with the friction around those times, me and my nigga Oso Millie, for sure, my brother, too, like, you know, we was with all. And then there was a few reasons why the essays did not like us back then. Niggas, if you from Escondido, y'all know the reason. I ain't gonna air them niggas' business out or all like that, you know. Yeah, so as they banging on us, we on opposite sides of the street. They on this side, we on this side. So they banging on us. My nigga also Millie, he look at me, he like, Notcho, what you trying to do? I'm like, nigga, push up. Like, so immediately we get cracking. We walk to where's the niggas? It's just me and Cuz. Me and Oso. We walk to where's the essays, bro. As we get to their side of the street, I just see niggas. I just see like the first three run up on my nigga Oso, like squabbling, Cuz, and the biggest nigga on me. But as I get to the side of the street to where they on, a taxi car runs my toe over. As I'm trying to, like, I don't know what kind of shoes that I had on, but literally the taxi was on all four of my feet, like all 5 toes. Like, I don't know how much toes you got, 4 or 5, 4. I'm trying to put it to where y'all can understand it. The wheel of the right front wheel of the taxi car was like just sitting on my toes, so I was stuck, and I was fighting the biggest essay. Mind you, there's nothing I could do, like, you know what I mean? I'm squabbling, stuck and all. Like, there's traffic, all the cars is like, there's other cars behind the taxi, in front of the taxi. It's a red light. The light turned green. So as the wheel is on top of my feet, I just see my homie take his belt buckle off and start swinging it all on the essays and shit. I seen him, he get dropped. They dropped him, like, you know what I mean? I'm still fighting the biggest nigga with the taxi wheel on my. So as my homie gets dropped by them niggas, he gets back up and shit, you know what I mean? I'm still squabbling though. Foot stuck under the wheel, taxi car, and all that. The light turned green, cuz. The light turns. That red light turned green, and the taxi just rolls over my foot. You know what I mean? Thank God I didn't break no bones. I don't know how I didn't break nothing. I got. So, cuz, like, mind you, I'm so mad that I was stuck in the first place under, like, you know, my foot was stuck. My shoe was stuck under the taxi wheel. I'm so hot from that. Finally, as I'm released, I'll start chasing this nigga around. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm chasing you. We outnumbered in the first place, so I shouldn't even be trying to chase these niggas around, trying to, you know what I mean, trying to do anything, you know what I mean? My homie, I see the homie also Millie run back across the street, like in the middle of the street. He like, Notcho, come on, cuz, we gone. But I'm still trying to chase the nigga, trying to get my licks back from when I was stuck under the wheel. I'm still trying to. That was a hell of a story, though. The homie, mom, she kicked us out the studio and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, we ended up rumbling with the essays like that. That was crazy. But I'm just glad for the decision that my homie also made that day, though. Like, I love Cub for that. Cub was like, nigga, let's get on him. I was like, let's get on him then. And, nigga. And shit, that was the crazy part too, because we was on feet. Them niggas they was in the car. They could have had anything, you know what I mean? We was on feet. I mean, my homie also at the end of the day was like, come on, Notcho, let's go. Shit, we got up out of there. Eventually, we got up out of there, you know, after I calmed down, because I was really trying to get that essay dude for like trying to fight me while my foot was stuck under the taxi car. Yeah, for sure. Yes, I have children. You know, I got my daughter and my son, and you know, they're very close in age. And yeah, my favorite song is that Fresh Out. You know what I mean? It's my favorite song because I wrote that while I was incarcerated, and I was like, that shit gonna blow up when I get out, and it went. That shit blew up when I got out, and then I had the video to it, all that shit. All the homies was in it, family members, everything. That was my first music video, so that's what, you know what what I mean? Shout out to everybody who's in that video and stuff. And, you know, shout out the cameraman, man. Albert De Niro, man. That was somebody I met through another person. A lot of my North County partners was in that video. It was, we shot it at my house. Everything, man. It was cool. A good experience, you know what I mean? I was fresh out. Well, shit, I just wanted to record that video to, you know what I mean, get the fans to know a little bit more about Notcho Dude. And, hey, man, we got more on the way, so y'all stay tuned. Thank y'all for everything,